One. Happy Monday, Eagles Nation. Well, as happy as it can be. Stephen Hellmann here alongside Tom Aresco. Eagles 4-4, 1-4 over the last 5 games. Yikes. Not too fun right now, but moving forward, I don't know. We're 4-4. We were a lot more excited. We were 4-4 last year.
Yeah, we had just beat the Cowboys in overtime,
Yeah.
and Jordan Matthews on that touchdown.
Yeah.
And, it looked like the team was headed in the right direction. And
Yeah.
they obviously weren't, but this year, the collapse 1-4 in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
You feel like you're giving games away, and that's what's bad. I mean, especially the Cowboys game and the Lions game. In the Giants game, you're down 14-0 because of two bad interceptions and Leotis McKelvin getting torched all over the field on the defensive side of football. It was a bad game early in the game, especially. And the Eagles' point differential in the first quarter is -23.
Yeah, unreal.
The only quarter that they have a negative point differential in. So, you're seeing them give these games away at the end, and you think that they need to close games, but really they need to open games.
Yeah.
They need to open stronger. And you see, once they go down 14-0, they get back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
That they're down 21-10 again at one point, and they still get back into the game. And they fight and things like that. But when you dig yourself a hole early in the game,
yeah,
it's tough to come back. And then when you're seeing them just come up short, it's not because they're not closing the game. For the most part, it's because they got themselves into a hole early in the game.
Yeah.
The Lions game was the same way,
Mm-hmm.
where they fight back and then they give it away at the end. And you have to come out with more of a poise about yourself and know it's going to be a long game, and you need to make correct throws and not so much rush it early in the game. Make the correct decisions, make the correct play calls, the correct personnel groupings. And then there's the other side of it where this roster, just talent-wise, isn't that great, and you're seeing a lot of things that are holding them back in those regards as well, and that's an issue.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that's a cause of concern for me is the decision making by Doug Pederson. It just that was going for it when you're in field goal range.
In the first half of the game.
In the first half of the game, you wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you're down by 24, you still probably kick the field goal there.
Yeah,
and it's astounding to me that he's, and I don't even want to get into calling the sweep run on 4th and 2 with your quarterback, but just kick the field goal, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can leave all these points on the field.
Exactly, and the thing is, you saw them go for it earlier in the season a couple times, but it was more when they were on that fringe field goal spot where it would have been like a 50 plus, and you're not exactly sure. But at this point, I'd even go for a 50-some plus field goal. You know what I mean? I mean, they just punted last game at 53-yarder, and he hit a 55. Right now, Caleb Sturgis is really solid.
Yeah, no, he's been great
as a kicker. And and then let's not leave out the fact that those weren't even long field goals.
Yeah.
Those were 40-something, maybe even 30-something, and they're going for it too early in the game to be panicking like that.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, he's gonna be going through these years where he has to figure out what works in certain situations, when to take the points. Guys are gonna start figuring it out, but this game, the New York Giants, the loss, you got to put that on Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson as a duo. Bad play calling. And
you can throw the Leotis McKelvin in there too.
And McKelvin on defense. But at the end of the day, Carson Wentz was bad early in the game, and that gets you in the hole. And then Doug Pederson's calling bad plays, making bad decisions on those play calls. Those two guys have to be the leaders and be better. And I know they're rookies, so you can look at the best quarterbacks around the league right now, the best young QBs, and usually in their first year it was kind of a struggle. You see, at Cam Newton, Andrew Luck obviously was one that went 10-6 and went to the playoffs right away, but he's struggling now.
Derek Carr
had a 2-14 rookie season as they were getting better. Mariota had a 3-13 rookie season as the Titans were getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston, they went 6-10 at Tampa Bay, and they're still not that good. A lot of these teams with young quarterbacks, it takes them a while. And, but then on the other hand, you look at a team like the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, 2 of their key players being rookies, but you can argue that they've built offenses around them to support that, and that's true to a degree, but they also are, making plays. But at the same time, you could look at Russell Wilson, who was a rookie and went to the playoffs, and Robert Griffin, and like I mentioned before, Andrew Luck. So there's on both sides, there's different situations. it's not even worth really comparing anything. It's just the simple fact that the Philadelphia Eagles have found a guy that's a capable quarterback in the NFL who's going to get better, and you need to surround him with better players. And you're not going to be great in the win-loss this year. You're probably going to be like what we were saying, in the offseason. Well, I was saying like 9-7, they could reach something like that. 10-6 would be huge if the team could get there.
I don't know if that's happening.
Not sure about that now. I think that it could 9-7 might get out the last wild card spot depending on the end of the season and how it shakes out. But this team that they need to step up, they need to grow, they need to learn to win, and that's something that I really think is true. That winning is learned. You go through certain things and you learn how to win together when you lose together at first, and that's how you learn it. You go, like the Sixers comparison, there's a lot more than just getting good players. They're going to have to learn to win together, and that's what the Eagles are doing right now. That's also what the Sixers are doing right now as well. They're they're losing games, but they're learning. In each game, they look better. That's kind of how the Eagles are. They're figuring things out. They're making mistakes, but each game they're figuring certain things out to what they can do. Hats off to Bryce Treggs, who made
made a big play.
A big play, and you see what the offense can look like when guys make big plays. And
that kind of opened up the middle, and because
Zach Pederson had a big game as well.
Pederson was still running a lot of those screens and checkdowns, but he was also letting Wentz throw the ball a little bit, 10-15 yard plays, and when the middle of the field's open like that, he's able to hit those throws. So. You can get a guy to stretch the field a little bit. Even Bryce Treggs, he made a little bit of a difference yesterday just by being out there and hitting the deep ball and running a few deep routes. That kept him honest.
Yep, and I think that we could say that obviously receivers need an upgrade. Offensive line could use some work, and then obviously the running back position. But on defense, if we had a couple more cornerbacks that could play, just decently, just capable football. Help out. Malcolm Jenkins and McLeod could stay back at safety. But as a result of being thin at corner, you have Malcolm Jenkins playing in the slot where he's not really he was drafted as a cornerback out of Ohio State, and he wasn't good enough, so they moved him to safety. He likes playing in the slot, and he's okay on bigger tight ends and things like that. But when he has to come down and play receivers constantly, he gets beat. He got beat on a deep touchdown. It just makes him look bad and out of position. And I know maybe there might be some reason he likes to come down and play that, but he's not that great at it when he has to play against quicker receivers. And you have to just be able to have at least 3 cornerbacks that can stay on the field and play, at a high level. And then your 4th and your 5th cornerback, who you definitely should have. Enough of the 4 running backs on game day.
That's what I was saying.
5 cornerbacks. You have to have 5 professional level cornerbacks, whether the last 2 are veterans like McKelvin, but they have to be on the field sparingly. We need to get cornerbacks that can start. 2 outside cornerbacks that can start in the NFL. Because it's been too long since we've had 2 starting caliber cornerbacks in Philadelphia. They are just looking really bad, and that play that McKelvin gave up on those 2 touchdowns, the one to Odell Beckham and the one to that Lewis Jr. guy.
It was bad.
It's terrible. He just
gave a 50-yard bomb to Cruz. That set him up for a score. So it's just, looking at it, I'm always, obviously I'm an optimist, but looking at it, we're losing these games, but we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And we're right in it. You got Carson Wentz out there, throwing over 360 yards. He had 2 picks in the beginning. It is what it is, but the guy's working with garbage and doing good. And I love what I'm seeing from Wentz, and his progression this year. And you get this guy a weapon or 2, and
he wasn't even supposed to start, and that was crazy.
And just going forward, I really like what we have. We need a few things, but you don't have to get the quarterback right now. You got your quarterback, and that's huge. And he's playing well. And
it is.
You go in there, you can get an offensive lineman, get a good running back. There's a lot of good ones in the draft. You probably get one in the 2nd round. Get a big time receiver, and then your offense is looking pretty good.
You just have to work with the offense the next couple of years. Pick guys up in the draft. Get some skill position players. Get a running back. Get a receiver. You need those kind of guys back. When we had McNabb, we had some guys. We had Westbrook. We had T.O. Obviously the 1 year. But we had the same guys coming back every year. And McNabb, got some chemistry with them, and they were just a good team. good, reliable tight ends, and then they had, their running backs, Deuce Staley, they had at first, and then they had Brian Westbrook, and then they had Shady McCoy, and their receivers, they had Macklin and Jackson at one point. So you need to get those like franchise players back at those positions. I mean, Chip kind of went with his guys. They didn't really work out so much. I mean, and that's fine. He tried it out. You did what you did. Okay, then you just say Chip missed those picks. It's not hard to admit that. Some of these guys aren't that good. You have to just go back and just because people are. See, the thing is, people are like, oh, we can't draft receivers. I even say we need an instant impact receiver like an Alshon Jeffrey, but it's tough to get those guys. We might need to go back into the draft and pick a receiver. I mean, just because Nelson Aguilar wasn't good doesn't mean another guy's not going to be good. You have to just go get the right receiver out of the draft that can make plays, and maybe he won't be the best receiver ever his rookie year, but he'll develop into a good receiver. Wentz has time. Sometimes you can't go out and get the Alshon Jeffrey, but you got to try probably to make upgrades at the receiving core, because these guys, even DGB. He was uninspiring. His route running is really lazy.
He's dogging it.
He can't really get over top of defenders. He's only really. I mean, I think he's the best trying to go across the middle and go on routes and catch the ball, and then he, if anyone, he's a guy that when you get him the ball, he makes a play because he's so big and hard to tackle when he runs. But when you're trying to run him down the sideline and he has to beat a guy one-on-one, he was just getting stood up, and it just didn't look like he was really given much an effort to try to get open, or I mean, it's not really much. It's not really effort. That's just how good he is. I mean, he's just a big guy that's not so much a polished route runner or anything like that. And I think they can definitely, revamp this receiving core, running back core. And there's some pieces in the running back core that they have, but overall, it's just got to be revamped completely on offense, and that's okay. I mean, look, Chip Kelly did what he did. He wanted to have his team, try his team, and they deemed him not good enough, and they got rid of him. But there's a lot of Chip Kelly guys that are, still sticking around, and he just missed on a couple of picks. And you just have to accept that, and you have to go forward and get better guys at those positions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we get the Falcons coming up next, and it's at home, and anything can happen. So we'll see you guys on Thursday for Bird Buzz. Have a great week. Try and enjoy your Mondays best you can. It's always tough when you're taking L's like this, but we'll see you guys next time.